This is episode 3 in reviewing ecom brands, email marketing emails. That was so corny. I don't know why I did that though. Anyways, we'll go with it. No, in this video, I don't know if you want to call it episode series, but it's my third time reviewing e-commerce brands, or at least in YouTube format. These are some of my personal favorite ecom brands, and you probably recognize them yourself. So, hope you guys enjoy the video. Let's get to it. All right, so this is the inbox we're going to be using. By the way, if you want to subscribe to a bunch of emails, I personally suggest Outletter. They don't pay me. I like the brand. I like the way the software is. Very easy. Check it out. Anyways, the point is, let's check them out. So I'm going to go at random. I know they're some of the most popular brands, but here we go. First one is by Mara. Let's zoom out. Mara ends tonight. Last chance for 25% off. I'm assuming this is a Cyber Monday email or a Black Friday. They don't even specify. That's very tough. Okay, ends tonight. Last chance. Overall bland email. I know that, for context, a lot of brands that are like a very premium or aesthetically like just luxurious think that they have to be very minimalistic, but what ends up happening is that they just have a bland looking design. They want to be like minimalistic, but that just ends up being bland. Don't be bland. Check out our emails. Subscribe to Malati Drinks. That's like one of like the luxury brands that we're working with, and check their emails out. That's perfect example of what a great looking email is with a premium design. But again, a lot of it has to do with transitions and gradients. You have to play around with that, but it has a lot, a very nice touch to it. Anyways, the product, it's okay. Shop now button. Not gonna be too nitpicky, but obviously it is proven rounded buttons make a difference. But again, I don't like to be nitpicky about that. Collection. I will say a good thing that it seems that they did, unless I'm wrong, is they made the products embedded with the emails. Or embedded with the design rather. So a lot of the times, what makes an email look really, really crappy, it looks really, really good, but the moment you get to the product section, it looks really bad, is when a brand inputs the products based on Klaviyo or Omnisend or whatever their email service provider is. Reason being is that if the person's settings is in dark mode, it's gonna flip the colors and it's gonna stand out really, really badly. But then the second thing is obviously just the fact that you got to slice the images perfectly. And a lot of the times, even we've done it where, like, for example, like if you're on Figma and you're trying to cut this little slice, you can. But when you try to do a product section on Klaviyo or Omnisend, whatever the platform is, it just looks really, really nasty because it's part of the email. It's hard to explain, but I'll see if I run into another email like that. But they did a good job. 72, nice little tactic. I like it. The only thing that it's a pet peeve of mine is that whenever there's a sale going on, I always like to clarify that you don't need a code. Here, it's pretty clear, 20% off site-wide, 25% off site-wide. But in my mind, I'm like, okay, it's 25% off site-wide. That's clear. What code do I use? That's the first thing that comes to mind as a consumer. So I always like to include it. Nice little, social proof right here. And it's a basic email. I mean, the biggest complaint I have about this is honestly just the blandness, but that is their prerogative. Next one, let's try to find a fancy one. Let's try this one. Corbin from Brez. Man, the hype from Brez. Hey yo, last note from me tonight. Our buy more save more deal ends at midnight. If you very weird, oh yeah, they do that. Stocking up holiday festivities or getting ahead from dry January, there's your moment. I like the dry January call, really, really nice. Future you will be very hyped to open a stock fridge, blah 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 blah. The offers, much love, Corbin from Brez or Braz, whatever that is. I like it. It's very, very simple. It's kind of hard to mess up a sales-based, text-based email. I mean, it's very, very clear. You just want to make sure that it looks, kind of like somebody from your actual brand wrote it. But this one, props to them. I always like, text-based emails like this. I will say, kind of going outside of just the design, that for bundle, like pretty much where you're increasing the AOV, so you're kind of offering bundles for a sale. So for them, they're not going 1, 2 pack. They're going 12 pack, 24, 48, 96. Those perform really, really good. The only time I would be cautious when doing a really, really big sale as your main sale is if you just have a low order value. That's really about it. When you have like a big sale like that where you're trying to get people to spend as much money as possible, it'll work because you have the anchor of, hey, this is on a sale. So they're thinking they're going to save so much more, which is true. But just make sure that people are willing to spend that much money. If you offer a $20, $30 product, it's going to be harder for people to buy. But yeah, this one's okay. Next one, let's pick a fun one. Yeah, these two look fun. Let's check it out. So this brand is Zero Waste Store. Final hours, last chance. Our biggest sale ever. 40% off. Use code BF40, 20% off. Gotcha. Okay. ZWS Essentials, site Y, shop deals. Okay. fair enough. This confused me a little bit, but it actually makes sense, so I'm not going to complain about that. Again, rule of thumb, you want to make, whenever you're making the copy for your emails, you want to make sure that it's immediately conceptual, or you conceptualize it very, very easily. You could understand, okay, what is the point of the email, and it's under 5th grade reading level. You want to make sure it's easy as possible for people to read. I think they did both. Maybe could have made it a little better with the conceptualize the email part, but it's fine. Final hours, basic email, nothing bad with it. This one, it's another cool reason why you should make the design. You should make the design on a platform like Figma, because if they were to make this product right here on Klaviyo or whatever, they couldn't put this little button here. And it's cool if you want to do it, because if it's like Christmas or whatever, you could add snowflakes, jingle bells, all that sort of stuff, opposed to not. The only really bad thing I would say is that there's not a clear shop now button. It just says code BF440. I mean, I'll post to the very last bottom one, but I want to make it a little bit more clear. This is pretty conceptual. I'm guessing if I click 40% off or 20% off, it'll take me to either their essentials or site-wide bundle. But yeah, I would just include a CTA here, or at the very least underline it. So like literally just like, let me see if I have an example. So like, can I do this? No, I can't. Let me see if I have an example. 1 second. So anything like this, where you bold it and italicize it, and then also underline it just to make it more clear. But anything like that. Otherwise, it's a fairly good looking email. Nothing too crazy about this one. Let me find a juicy one. 1 second. All right. Respectfully, I'm gonna rip this one to shreds. So obviously, logo looks like crap. Not the logo itself, but a great way to make your logo stand out, if you have a black logo or a white logo and you want the background to be black or white, super, super simple. All you got to do is put the logo in the back, or in the front rather, and then behind the logo, so like literally like imagine here's the logo, behind the logo, just put a different color gradient, and then that way the main logo stands out, and then you still have the rest of the email as whatever color you want. So for this one, I would maybe make this a transition, or a gradient rather, where it's like it starts off white, but then slowly transitions into kind of like that bluish, blackish, and then once it's on black, then you could do it. But anyways, that's that. A lot of dead space here. I mean, it's cool, like the pictures, whatever. But a lot of dead space right here. I would honestly I think would be great is, and it could have worked really, really well for them, is I would have moved this guy further down and then just added another section to the email at the top. So this would be kind of at the bottom. And then over here, like above, I would add another black layer. And then that's when I would put this copy right here. Cyber Monday, up to 70% off site-wide. And then because you're immediately getting people to realize it. They just see it, like literally, when people open this email, this is what they see. The time is crazy, man. What's the weather? If they see this, it's very, very bland, very boring. So yeah, I want to make it very, very clear that it's a sale at the top, and then after that you go in here. This again, you have no transition, so I like to explain the reason why behind it. So typically you don't want a section to just be blocks. Like this is a perfect example. This is one block and this is another block. Reason being is that when people see blocks on an email, in their mind they don't think this is still one email, which sounds kind of weird, but just stick with me. In their mind, they're like, this is another section of the email. So it's like, if I open this immediately, do I like the email or not? Am I going to buy or not? That's my first moment in the first section. But when there's another section, now they're like, okay, this is another part of the email. Do I want to buy, yes or no? Do I want to keep on reading, yes or no? But when you add specifically a gradient or a transition, it still looks like there's no breaks in the email. So in the consumer's mind, it's a super psychological trick where it's like, oh, okay, it's still part of the email. Let me keep reading because this is still one section. And then you just get them to read the whole email. And then, yeah, that's pretty much the reason for that. Again, this, I just do not like it. I can't tell if it's part of the email or not, part of the design or of the, of the email. But I don't like it. Everything like that just looks super, super bland, really boring. Obviously, it's kind of weird because it's like if you have multiple products, like what am I going to do? Either make the email longer. A long email, it's not preferred, but it's better than this. I'm gonna be very honest. But the second thing is you could do transitions. So you could do like our men's sellers right here. So I'll put the the top clothing line of of the men's section that you want to promote right here, and then women's section here, and then whatever section. That way people could kind of guide themselves, and they're like, okay, instead of just because like when I see this, I'm like, oh. In order to make a decision, I have to look at every single one of the images, and then I have to specify. But it's like I know I'm not gonna buy this. I'm not a woman, so I have to look at this. But that's already dead space that you're wasting. Opposed to just clarifying men, women, bundles, essentials, gifting, all that sort of stuff. That way I could just quickly scroll. Okay, this is still one email because you have a gradient transition. Let me just scroll through. Oh, I want this one because it's the men's section. Now, instead of having to make one choice out of 6, I just have to make one choice out of 2, 2 images, and then choose, whatever image I want, aka whatever product I want to, possibly buy. Aside from that, nothing else that's crazy. I like the footer section. It's always good to have. But yeah, let me find another one. Oh, Legally Addictive. I like them. Let's check them out. Legally Addictive, sweet, salty, and insanely delicious. So this part, I actually not against it. When the logo is part of this, I don't like it. But when it's a banner by itself, I do like it. I heard another person say that, what do you call it? It works for them really, really good because I didn't really think of it like this, but it actually does work. When the banner's at the top, it's like another layer of cutting out the fluff because some people literally just want to get the code or just want to buy. So when it's literally at the very, very, very top, there's literally a button. I could just click it and go directly to the page. But anyways, Legally Addictive. Everything is 20% off and everything means everything. I like it. Get free shipping on orders. Obviously, that's kind of like a mistake as far as the design looks. That's not even. Shop the Party. Legally Addicted. Man, I thought I was going to get into something more spicy, but I like the product image. Shop the Party, I would be more specific, like shop the bundle if it's a collect, or shop the collection if it's a collection, but that's whatever. Shop the duo. This I don't like it at all, and I'm betting that this part right here was made on the email itself, because as you could see, like unless they did a horrible job with the design, it's a clear like another section, so I don't like it. Prepare to ascend to iconic history, guest status. Copy's basic. It's kind of dead space, to be honest. Honestly, I would have loved doing, because I know Legally Addictive has a lot of different products, just bundles. I would just promote the bundles, especially if it's a big sale. And if you're not going to promote the bundles, maybe your seasonal bestsellers, maybe like stagnant. So it would be, or alternating rather. So it would be like image on the left-hand side and then text on the right, image on the right-hand side, text on the left. Let me show you an example of what that looks like. Let me hold up. So anything like this, where it's kind of alternating, that way it's a lot more digestible because it's like literally in chunks, but it's still one part of the email. You see how it's literally, because we had no blocks, right? It's within each section, and then you have a little description of the product. But anything like this, I would have preferred if they did that. And again, it's not a super long email. It is one of the longest emails in the month, but it's not a crazy long email, especially if it's a quiz. But for them, they could have put different products. I'm gonna pick one more. And I'll come back when I pick it. I like ginger. Should we pick ginger? I'll pick ginger. I need a welcome email for ginger, so we'll do it. Ginger shots to fuel high performance lifestyle. Shop now, ginger. Oh, okay. Hold up. They actually might do something good. Again, top nav. You don't need a navigation bar. Again, the reason for that is you're giving people too many different options, especially if it's a sale. If it's a sale, literally cut off all the options and just get them to the products you want them to buy, the bundles, the products with the highest AOV. You completely take off the nav bar, and then also that just looks nasty. I don't know why they put it in the left hand side. They could just put it in the middle, and then again, kind of whatever. Let me show you what I'm talking about when I say the logo and then a transition in the back. Let me find that for you. Literally the exact same email, perfect example. You see how the logo is right here, but it stands out because we have a gradient right here. Let me see if I can move it for you to show you what it looks like. I don't think it can, but as you can see, it's a linear transition gradient. It's a linear gradient, and then we can kind of move it however we want. But the point is, logo's standing out, and then because of the gradient, you slowly fade into whatever the main product is, or main hero image, whatever it is. That's a perfect example. Another one would be something like that's already good. Let me do something like, let me find a better one. Here's another example. Logo standing out at the top, still blue, but a different color blue, so it stands out. And then it slowly transitions to this part, because if we were to take that off, it just looks a little nasty. Let me see if I can take it off in the first place. If not, you guys are going to have to trust me. But yeah, it doesn't look as good. You see it looks nasty, especially the text. But when we add a transition, pops out. Perfect example of what it is. Anyways, curious about what inspired Ginger Labs. I do not like this at all unless it is a welcome email, which I kind of do believe it is, because it doesn't look like a sales-based email. But anyways, we'll review it. Ginger, the story of us, and then a little description. I do like this part. I actually do kind of mess with this. 1, as an adult. 2, in 2019. 3. I actually do like that part. I don't know if I would use it. It's not my favorite. I like it, but it's not my favorite. But it looks good. Love it whenever a brand includes pictures of the founders or anybody that started or is part of the brand. It's a brand. It has a personality, right? You don't want to make it all robotic. But that looks good. I love it when it's set in a place. So I love how the frame is like we started at New York, or we started where in Boston, where it's whatever. But the point is, as an adult in New York, you're giving more context, so you're giving people a whole storyline. And again, that's just what differentiates your brand from everybody else. What makes you guys unique from all your competitors, competition? Nice little storyline. It's an okay looking email. 15% off. I think they did a nice job with that. And then this section right here. I'm not going to complain about it. What I would have liked to have done is maybe make it part of the email, but I get it. It's a founder email, so I'm not going to be too nitpicky about it. And then this, bottom here. The only last thing I would say is the shop now, wholesale, subscribe and save. I would make it stand out a little bit more. Kind of what we saw in the other email where it was like 4 little sections. That looks good. If you want to do something like, I think we have one from Ally. Hold up. Let's see if we have one. Oh, here we go. Something like this as well, where it just stands out more, and it's like little like lines making it stand out. Anything like that works as well. But anyways, those are some of the emails I reviewed. See, you know what? I'm gonna do this. If you leave a comment, DM me, leave a comment, whatever. Just some of the brands that you would like to see me review. I've done Rise, I've done Eat Rotten, Brez now. It's pretty cool. But I like doing this. It's pretty fun, pretty engaging. You're gonna hear me be repetitive, but it's the basics count. So the basics make all the difference. Either way, love you guys. Talk to you soon. Hope you enjoy the video. And if you have any other ideas for YouTube videos, feel free, because I'm open to ideas. All right, God bless you guys. Bye.